Welcome to Wrestling with Success, the best and only podcast for the wrestlers of tomorrow. Please welcome your host, Nigel? Oh, right. Your host and future champion, Neil McMillan.
Yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 23 of the Wrestling with Success podcast. And this episode we talk about the Gimmick. This episode I introduce to you Mr. Success, the Gimmick, the who, the why, the where. What the hell is Mr. Success? In the words of Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy? This episode, I'm going to be talking you through the ins and outs of the character, where I got my ideas from, where I've got my inspiration from, hopefully to try to inspire you guys, or hopefully give you some ideas of some things to think about, and let you in on the back end way of thinking for this character, where my head's at for Mr. Success and the future of Mr. Success. So let's kick things straight off. So straight off, guys, the Gimmick. Yes, the Gimmick is Mr. Success. The character, it's more of a tweener. I'm not going out to be devilish. I think I'm trying to be more of an annoying character. So basically, Mr. Success is a motivational success story. He will help you with life. He will help you succeed. He hates all failures, and he's willing to hold your hand and help you along that up and down scary road that they call life. That's basically what Mr. Success is. Now, is this a character I've always had in my head to become a wrestler and be a motivational speaker? No, not a fucking tool. To be honest, I didn't really have any idea of, being a wrestler and what was in the back of my head. I had a few initial ideas, only because listening to, Stone Cold's podcast in the past, and you've heard a lot of interviews, how did you come up with your character? And the main answer that people say is your character should be a extension of yourself. It should be you times 1,000. It should be you turned up a few levels. And so I suppose that's where I kind of started. I kind of stopped and had a look at what my kind of characteristics were, what came natural to me, and then I kind of turned it up a little bit and tried to come up with a few more ideas. Now, in no way am I speaking in the fact that I have the most successful gimmick. There's a pun. I don't want to keep saying that the word success is taken up far too much of my vocabulary nowadays. But I don't want to kind of preach as if my character is incredible or I've got this best gimmick ever and I'm never changing my character, because that's not true at all. It's early days. All I'm doing is sharing my experience and where my head's at, so you can kind of get an idea and it may help with you. So in no way am I preaching to you saying this is the best character ever, you should listen to me. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where my head's at. So yeah, like I said, with the extension of myself, I stopped and kind of looked at my own little personality CV, and some of the main things that come naturally to me are I'm a very positive person. I don't like to see anybody down. I try to encourage everyone around me. I like to think that I am a success. There I go again with that fucking word. I like to think that I am a success. I think success is not what other people should think of you. Success is what you think of yourself. So I don't think success necessarily means, I know stereotypically it means house, car, lots of money and stuff like that. But what I see success is you feeling good about yourself. Some people could think they're very successful, because they can mow the lawn with the, you know, those lines, those kind of back and forth lines. I bet you there's some fuckers out there that know their shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have those lines, okay? But I don't see them as my kind of like, I don't hold my self-esteem to the way my grass is cut. But you know, there's some fuckers out there who have the most successful lawn you ever seen. So I think success is very individual. I don't think it has to be a stereotypical thing. I don't think anybody should be chasing all the time for money, the cars and everything, because the old saying goes, that doesn't give you your happiness, I don't think. I think you should be chasing for your inner goals, things that will make you as an individual happy. And that's what I try to do. Is I see success is in if I help someone, that gives me a lot of success. That gives me a lot of self-worth. That makes me feel good. I feel like I've done something good there. If I learn a new skill, that to me means I'm doing well. If I keep my kids happy and the wife happy, and that's no easy feat, then that makes me that's a little slice of success right there. So I'm very much about the whole success. I try to improve myself and be the best version of myself. And not only that, I try to help others around me and be as good as they possibly can. And the other thing as well, I like to kind of motivate people. I like to try and encourage people. I don't like to see people down. I mean, this is all bullshit. The main reason why I'm going to be Mr. Success is because I just wear a suit all fucking day for my job. And I'm just lazy. I don't like to get changed out my clothes, so it's just an excuse for me to wear a suit. But it's not. But let's be honest, I wear a suit a lot, and I like to look good. I like that. That's another thing. If I wear a suit, I like to try to not just wear a suit like I'm going to a funeral or I've got something out of Primark. And I'm not saying you've got to buy an expensive suit, but I like to doll up the suit a lot. I like the pocket squares and the ties and the kind of matching. And my mum always encouraged me to ensure that my shoes are clean and my shoes match my belt and all that shit. So I'm very much a suit wearer as it is. Not just your standard boring business suit, but I like to kind of dress them up a little bit. And I thought maybe that could add to character as well, because it's quite some. I like the colours, I like the colourfulness of them. And although there are a lot of characters in wrestling that wear suits, more of authority figures, I thought, heck, it can maybe we could do something a little bit different with the pocket squares and the ties. But then all of a sudden I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm starting to become the Titus brand. I'm like the Titus brand, and I hate to say it, I saw him wear a pocket square and a tie, and I thought, he looks good. I mean, he wrestles like a heap of shit, but he looks good. So I'm keeping my eye on Titus because he's inspiring me. He is the Mr. Success's inspiration. So I've been keeping my eye on him. So those are the main reasons as well. It's the fact that they're an expression of myself, an extension of myself. Me turned up to 1,000. I like to help people. I like to be positive. I like to be loud, and that is the real core behind Mr. Success. Another thing with success is, well, now it's all very well having that kind of success and being that loud person, but how do you translate that into being either a face or a heel? And I think it's quite simple, because I see success in all these different ways, individual and all that stuff. And I'm very much a firm believer in positive thinking, and that kind of, there's a whole world out there of, and I don't know if it's a recent thing, like you've got this whole depression side. Like nowadays, everyone's depressed. Like immediately, if someone has a bad day, everyone's just immediately, they've got depression. And if you have got depression and you feel like you've got that, I completely understand that. I had a couple of years ago, I had a bit of a wobble, a bit of a life wobble. No real reason, just stress at work. And I started to feel lack of confidence, feel a little bit down. And even in my own head, I immediately went, shit, maybe I'm depressed. And luckily enough for me, I have my wife to speak to, and I kind of said, like, shared my feelings with her. It's always good to share your feelings. So if you are going through shit, make sure you're sharing your feelings with someone. I've got a wife, you've got parents, we've all got friends, unless you're an utter prick. But yeah, so if you are there's this whole space of I instantly kind of, as soon as I felt down, I was like, oh, I'm depressed. And I notice it everywhere now. Everyone's like so easily depressed, and the depression levels are going up and down. But not only there's this depression world, there's this whole world of this success mindset, the positive thinking, the Monday motivational posts, the lions. For some reason, lions are everywhere. Lions are this kind of successful thing. So there's this whole success thing. And to be honest, when I had my little life wobble, I started like looking around and I tried to help myself and try to see some of this stuff. And I read the book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called The Secret, and it's basically this. Oh, if you have positive thoughts, the universe will turn them and make them come true, and you'll get everything you ever want. Obviously, that's a little bit hokey pokey, but I do believe that if you have positive thoughts, things come out of it. So what I noticed was there's this whole space, and what I really noticed was a lot of it's really wanky, annoying stuff. Like really, take this life lesson course and you can earn £5,000 in a day, or something like that. Or like I said, the Monday motivational posts. I can't stand Monday motivational posts. All the lions and all. So there's this whole thing that it's all over everybody's social media, and I think it can be really, really annoying. So I thought, well, I could be potentially a face, a nice guy who comes out, tries to help people, yay. But really, is that going to get over? Not really. I'm just going to end up coming across like a bit of a wet blanket. But I thought, if I could tap into this kind of motivational success suit-wearing guy who's willing to help everyone and do the Monday motivational posts, and I can help you, I can do this, I think potentially I could piss some people off, because I know that guy would piss me off if he was in my face telling me how successful he is and how shit I am. And I think as well, instantly, I think without people really thinking about it, if you see someone more successful than you instantly kind of think, you get a little bit jealous. You kind of think, I wish I could be as successful as them. Or you kind of think, God, I hope they fail. And that's not a personal thing. People don't mean to think that, but I think without you thinking it subconsciously, if you're quite down, that's what you immediately think. You see your friends and nice things happen, you kind of feel a little bit jealous, and you kind of think, oh, I wish I had that or something. And that's you thinking about it without even thinking about it. That's just behind the scenes. So what better heat there is to kind of draw jealousy and hatred out of people without them even thinking about it. Subconsciously, people hate me because I'm successful. Mr. Success is better than them because he has the suits, he has the nice cars, he has the full history of success, the full lifetime of winning, achieving, succeeding, and all of that. So I thought if I could bring that across, people will hate me without even really knowing me or knowing the character, and also I could piss them off that little bit more by being a little bit more in their face about how much of a failure they are and how good I am. And I think I like that idea of subconsciously fucking with their head, them immediately looking at me and thinking, fucking success. So that's how I'm trying to get people, and in no way do I think I'm superior to anyone at all. All I'm trying to be is beat myself. That's the only person I'm competitive with. I don't get jealous with anyone. The only person I'm trying to compete with is myself. Everyone else I'm trying to help along the journey as well. So that is the kind of inspiration behind the character. And it sounds stupid as well. The podcast name, Wrestling with Success, the whole success name within that was just wrestling with myself, my own success, making it and trying to inspire others. And that's without being the cocky Mr. Success prick that I try to turn on. It's the podcast is trying to show people, here's me on my journey, this is me trying to do my thing, this is me trying to achieve it, because it's not always easy. and follow me on the journey, and hopefully I can inspire you. I'm wrestling with success. And I was like, well, if I'm Mr. Success, I can kind of tie in the podcast with it, maybe along with the character, and try to get a little bit more listeners on here, try to inspire a few more people on the podcast as well. So I thought, well, wrestling with success, how about if I'm Mr. Success or The Success, or I don't know. And another thing, people have kind of, am I just Mr. Success as a name? I think it's a lot easier. I'm not going to shy away from my name. People have kind of said, have you come up with a different name? And I kind of think, no, because my name obviously Neil McMillan, but it's spelled Niall. So Niall is a really shit name, like Niall McMillan. Like, it's not catchy by any means. It's a shit name, but I think I want people to have to learn my name. They have to know who Niall McMillan is, and I want it to be kind of not a punishment for them, but I want it to be they've got to work to learn it. It's like, that Niall guy, that McMillan, that success wanker. That's what I want. If that comes out of people's lips, sold. I'm happy. I've got that different heat. I've got heat people aren't even thinking about. There's heat like coming out and like going, I'm gonna break his arm, or I don't know, like flipping off the crowd. But what kind of heat can you get by having just a shit name and just rubbing it in about how better you are, like without even like going over the top about it, just coming out in a nice suit. So somebody who works in an office who's not really happy with their life kind of looks and goes, oh fuck, he looks good in a suit, like without even thinking it. He might just sit there quietly and think it. If I get that type of heat, I'll be happy. So that's what I'm aiming for. There's that kind of hatred. But I mean, the really good thing about having this is I'm coming about self-consciously. If people don't know who I am and they see my character, I think they're instantly going to think, what a prick. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that idea, but also at the same time, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a cocky person. I'm a confident person. I'll give myself that. But I'm not, in no way do I want to be cocky. I want to help everyone around me. And that's why I like doing this podcast as well, because I hope my actual self comes across on this, and that the fact that I'm actually just trying to help. But I do like the idea that I can have that kind of character that I can turn on, because trust me, I'm not always Mr. Success all the time. Not when I'm grumpy because of my little boys spilling stuff on my sofa. That's life right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's day to day for Mr. Success, is struggling with the kids and keeping the wife happy. So that is the kind of character. Some of the kind of characters I've looked at to try to help mould this kind of Mr. Success. Wolf of Wall Street. I like the whole the over the topness about it, like throwing a dwarf into a dart thing. I like that whole thing, and that over the top, extravagant, silly with money, stupid kind of success like Wolf of Wall Street. A lot of people said to me when they've seen the character, they've immediately thought $1 Million Man, because obviously the suit, Mr. Success, it kind of seems like I'm expensive or something. Other ones as well, like Simon Dean. I don't know if anybody remembers Simon Dean. He's worth a Google. He did like a kind of he was a personal trainer for WWE, but it was really like this wearing this purple jumpsuit. But he wasn't like over the top heel. He was like trying to help, but he was subtly kind of like putting people down and everything. So he did another one, and it sounds stupid. I've even thought about the voice of Mr. Success, and the voice, the main inspiration, it sounds stupid, is I don't know if you've seen Dodgeball. If you haven't seen Dodgeball, go watch Dodgeball. It's a brilliant film. But White Goodman, it's Ben Stiller who plays it, and he leads the Cobras dodgeball team, and he's got that voice. And there might be a terrible impression, but I like the idea of success is on its way, or something like that. Just kind of like that weird kind of White Goodman voice. So I've even thought about voice. So yeah, I mean, I'm into my characters. I think at the end of the day, as much as wrestling ability, the technical ability, there's a whole world of stuff I still need to learn. I haven't even scratched the surface. What I'm trying to do is compensate as much as I can for that by having a character. At the end of the day, if you look at people say about like the Ultimate Warrior, if you look at him, really, substance of his matches, in no way am I slating the Ultimate Warrior because one hell of a career, but in terms of other wrestlers, he wasn't exactly the greatest wrestler, but frick me did he have one hell of a character. And that's the thing, just having a character that gets some sort of emotion out of you, just something out of you. At the end of the day, the way I see it and the way I kind of sell to my friends, my family who kind of ask me about it, is that at the end of the day, it's like a kind of an aggressive pantomime. It's people pay, especially some of the more smaller shows, local shows, where it's not your hardcore fans. A lot of it is families that come. And they come just because they want to be entertained. They want to spend a little bit of money and just, like, it's like going to the cinema. They want to just see something that's going to recite some sort of emotion, so they don't remember whatever they were doing, whatever stresses or problems. They kind of want to go and see a show, be entertained. So if I can do that, I want to get any sort of emotional reaction. So I think with the Mr. Success character, I think there could be some comedy behind it. I try to keep it light-hearted as well. I'm trying not to take it, I don't want it to be like I'm taking myself too seriously and I miss the success. No, I'm the best. I'm better than everyone. I want to do it as a really over the top kind of like, so people know that I'm not taking myself that fucking seriously. So I'm trying to do at the end of the day, I'm all about characters. The way I see it, it's a pantomime. I'm trying to entertain people. If someone laughs, gets pissed off, cries or anything, if I get some sort of reaction out of anybody, that is all I'm after. And I'm excited to kind of push the character out there to try and I think I hope I'll have the ability to be able to do that, and it will kind of paper over the cracks of my wrestling ability, because I think majority of my wrestling skill set will come as and when I'm getting the matches. I think I'm very much of a chuck me in the deep end and I'll learn to swim kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm still putting the shifts in, I'm still trying to train, I'm still trying to do different stuff. But I know that I can train 4 times a week for the next year, but until I'm out there, I'm not really going to be able to apply it or learn on the job like driving a car or something like that. You're not going to learn until you're actually on the road without the guidance of anyone else, just trying to do it by yourself. So with the character, I think hopefully I can paper over that. So, which brings me to my next point as well, and I think this is very timely because I watched NXT War Games, Takeover War Games at the weekend, and damn, that I'll tell you now, that Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black, there were so many reasons that match was up there for me, and for some reason that to me it's one of the second best matches I've seen this year. And people, I don't know if people agree with me. I haven't really spoken to any other fans yet, but that match, wow! Like Velveteen Dream, I've obviously seen him a few times on NXT. I think he's had like a few matches, but nothing like on Takeover. This really, to me, was his debut kind of showcase of himself and his character. And one thing, like I said about all characters, is immediately when you see Velveteen Dream, he gets an emotion, he gets a reaction out of you. You immediately think, you either think, what the fuck is this guy wearing? He looks fucking weird. I don't like him. Like immediately. That's without you even. That's with 10 seconds with you like looking at him. And you might get other people and thinking, this guy's different. I immediately like him. Look at that spiked up hair. He's wearing a fucking crop top and he's wearing glasses with a third eye. And you might like him, but you get a reaction. You get an instant kind of like emotion. That to me is so important, because if he just came out, hair down, pair of trunks, pair of boots, you kind of think, okay, rookie, new guy. Let's see what he's got. And you instantly look at the ring ability and you'll base him on that. But if you get a reaction straight away just by looking at someone, I think that's very underutilized. Just fucking look so. Just get something. Just get a reaction out of people just by the way you look. Like within a couple of seconds. I think that's a great selling point for Velveteen Dream. And on paper, I mean, Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. Like, really? Like, should it have worked? No fucking way. Did it work? Yes. Honestly, Aleister Black, the whole standing up from, he's rising from the coffin kind of thing, like Dracula for his entrance. Gold. Incredible. And I like the whole build up. I don't watch NXT every week. I kind of see the highlights. And the build up towards it with him not saying his name and everything. And then, that build up is so simple. It was so simple. And it worked. They built a feud up of just because he didn't say his name. It's so ridiculous. But if you watch back, like that actual the promo before that match was actually like pretty fucking good, and they built up just from really nothing. I mean, I don't think Aleister Black even said a word or really done anything. He done 2 spin kicks, and that was really it. And he was just kind of walking around, but it was brilliant. And the match itself, it was 2 characters, 2 completely polar opposite characters coming together in a match, and that's what I like about wrestling. It's characters. It's everything's got a character. You've got Batman and Joker. You've got I'm trying to think now of other people. Darth Vader and fucking Luke Skywalker. Or I'm trying to think what would you use, like what would be a good one for you use? I can't think now. That's how old I am. I'm trying to think of like youth. Like the fucking Thor and Loki. There you go. Let's keep it real. I'm down with the kids. Avengers. Boom. Like you need 2 characters to kind of bounce it off each other, and one of the most interesting things about wrestling and telling a story is how those characters interact with each other. And this match did it perfectly. Kind of, they were copying each other's taunts and everything. And one thing as well, Aleister Black, man, did he make Velveteen Dream look good with his selling. He sold the whole match. You can kind of see some areas where I think where it's just where I've gotten to see the behind the scenes of wrestling a little bit more. I could kind of see a few little things where you could tell that Velveteen Dream was the rookie in this match. But for a casual fan, Aleister Black made Velveteen Dream look like the best wrestler you've ever seen in your life. Honestly, I don't know. I may be overselling it, but I really enjoyed the match. And then right at the end, with they both were over with the crowd. They both won the crowd over. And right at the end, Aleister Black actually saying his name, Velveteen Dream, popped. Incredible. Great moment. Great match. Go back and watch it. All right. The rest of NXT... it was good. The first match, Cassius Ohno with that big dude, that big nasty looking dude. That was alright. It was a nice surprise. I wasn't really expecting much out of him. I'm surprised Cassius Ohno got the loss cleanly as well. The Divas match, I kind of wanted, was it Peyton? One of the Australian girls to get the win. But hey, I don't really get I haven't watched the women's tournament yet. I haven't watched that yet, the Mae Young Classic, but I can't take that Chinese or Japanese woman seriously. I can't. She comes out with a pirate thing. I don't know. I need to watch Mae Young thing because obviously the crowd were gobbling her up, but I couldn't see what it was because no, it's just the music that came out. She's just a pirate. It was that other guy that used to be a pirate in WWE. I've got to look it up now. There was a guy who was with William Regal. Let's see what it was. Paul Burchill. He came out as a pirate. He came out swinging on a rope and everything. And people have said that he looks like Mitch Davis, the Wolf Mitch Davis, and he definitely does look. The first picture I've seen looks like Mitch Davis. Sorry, Mitch. But hey, Paul Burchill was cool. There's your next gimmick, Mitch. The pirate, Mitch Davis. So I mean, really, we've kind of blended into... Ready for the shit jingle? Fan time. Yeah, shit jingle. So, those are my thoughts of the NXT. The War Games match itself, I'm not sure. Like, it was nice to see a spectacle, but I don't know, it was just so surreal for me. I kind of fast forwarded it because I was watching it in front of my kids, so I couldn't obviously see too much of it. But from what I've seen, there's a lot of good reviews, so I need to go back and really watch it because it just looked like everyone left it out there. From what I saw of it, it looked okay. I think the main thing is I don't know a lot of the characters that well enough yet. So I'm not that completely over with them all. But this match may change my mind. So I'll go back and watch that. Obviously the Drew McIntyre Andrade match. Obviously Drew losing the belt sucks. I'm not happy. I don't know if you've listened to previous, but I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. But one of my goals in my whole wrestling career and my wrestling life is to wrestle Drew McIntyre in a match. Now, some people may think that's over the top. I think I'm doing that at some point. It's just when and how. Now, the thing I don't like about it is, the thing I like about him losing the title is because, in a way, I'm kind of like, I hope he's got heat. I hope he's going to get sacked and he has to come back to the UK and I'll get him then. But yeah, it's probably not. By the end of it, he looked like he got some sort of injury. I'm not sure when he got it. I saw some reports that he injured it during the match and they called an audible. If they did, they covered it very fucking well. I do think it's strange how he lost it so early. I'm one of his biggest fans as well. I think his look is incredible. He's an intense looking guy. But the NXT crowd weren't really gobbling him up, so it wasn't a stale character. Yeah, he was a little stale. I'll say that as well. That's me as a big Drew McIntyre. Can't even say his name. Put your teeth in, Mr. Success. I'm not fucking hell, I'm the biggest Drew McIntyre fan. And even I thought, he's a bit stale. But he's looking good, though. He looks big and massive. But why the fuck does he have to use that finish, that Claymore finish? Please. The Future Shock is devastating. The Claymore is good, but it's not a finish. The Claymore could kill a guy. Not a Claymore, the Future Shock. The Future Shock could kill a guy. Let's stick with that. But I'm interested in... Andrade winning the title. I think it'll be pretty different. Brings a different dynamic. It's better than him being stale and getting released and everything. And he has improved. He has piqued my interest a little bit more. I don't know if it's that new woman he's got with him. I think it's Selena. I think. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Talking of injuries as well, I have my own little... this is so bad. I've got my own little injury. Now, when I say this, it makes it sound like, I've had one rumble and I'm injured. I had 4 minutes in a rumble. I got injured before getting into the ring with a rumble. I've had it. It's annoying. It's like on my shoulder, my left shoulder, and I got it actually at London School of Lucha Libre. I got it probably about 3 weeks ago, just by doing some shoulder rolls, and it just hasn't healed. So. This past week, after the rumble, as soon as I got home, and I literally got in, had my beer, had a pizza. I forced myself to finish this last pizza when really I could have tapped out at 2 slices. Honestly, I was fucked. I had the pizza. My wife had bought me some chocolate because she knew, obviously, I'd been so good. She got me some peanut M&Ms on my thing. So... I haven't had them in fucking ages. She bought me a bag, so I was like, I just about finished my pizza. I nearly tapped out at 2, and then all of a sudden this bag of M&Ms comes out. I had about 3 of those, and I legit died on the sofa. Legit just passed out on the sofa, exhausted. So yeah, this past week I've given myself a rest because I don't want to carry on with training whilst I'm injured and cause any sort of more damage. I want to be able to train at my very peak. So I still go to my training sessions, at drop kicks, but in terms of the gym, I haven't been going as hard as I did before the Rumble. I'm actually taking a week off just to kind of recoup and get my arm back to 100% so I can go back training strong. So there we go. I didn't just get injured after a 4-minute Rumble. If I did, then I'd really be in trouble. And last night as well, I went to see a few friends from down Kent, where I'm from, and they're the kind of friends that they're all got an interest in wrestling. We always kind of go around each other's houses every pay-per-view and watch them. And I haven't done it. Really, we haven't done it in about a year. Life's caught up with everyone. Obviously, me wrestling, having another kid as well. We haven't really had the opportunity. But obviously, last night's Survivor Series, we were all quite hyped for it. I haven't seen him in a long time. One of my friends has just bought a house, so I thought we'll go down and see him. So I was going to sit down and record a podcast with them as well, just to kind of get their feedback of what it was like for me kind of coming out as a wrestler and their thoughts about it. And I thought they would have ripped me to shreds on the podcast as well, so I thought that would have been quite funny. But by the time we got there, my man whipped out Mario Kart on the N64, and I thought, shit, we got to play that shit. And we played a lot of rounds, but those motherfuckers, they play it all the time. They're always around. They live quite close to each other. Those motherfuckers are always playing it. I had about 19 races, and I came first on one of them out of the four of us. And I legit popped and ran around the room when I won. And that Wario Stadium, baby. If you're N64 Mario Kart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then we sat and watched Survivor Series after. It was alright. It wasn't as good as it was hyped. It got a bit predictable when Raw started winning, and then SmackDown all of a sudden started winning, and then you knew it would be a draw for the last match, otherwise you wouldn't really be bothered about the last match. So you knew Lesnar was going to go over. Match of the night definitely was AJ Styles and Lesnar, without a doubt. You saw AJ Styles literally get victimised, brutalised and conquered, but then he had that comeback, and it was one hell of a comeback. You actually thought he was going to win. At the end of the show, it was just really weird though. It was just the whole typical, I'm not a kind of, Triple H gets his shovel out and buries everyone. I'm not that kind of, I see the benefit of him getting involved in some stuff. But at the end of the show, it did kind of feel like, well, that was a bit confusing. There was no real need for that. And it kind of ended with Triple H being the highlight of the show. Kurt Angle, he hasn't really wowed me since wrestling back. Just not the same person. No one really came out looking like a superstar. Even John Cena had a weird kind of match and didn't really get too involved. But definitely match of the weekend. Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. I definitely recommend you go and watch that back. So that is it from this week. That is my thoughts on the NXT War Games. That is my thoughts on Survivor Series. And that is the story of Mr. Success. There's plenty of more to come. I'm going to be doing a lot more video promos. A lot more kind of introduction videos, if you will, for Mr. Success, leading towards a debut match. I did have a date for a debut. Unfortunately, that date got cancelled due to venue venue issues. There has been a date pushed back. I'm not entirely sure my involvement on that show yet, but definitely next year, guys, next year, and potentially by the end of the year, there's going to be some debut soon, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, my video from the Rumble, I'll be posting tomorrow, which is Tuesday, if you're listening to this. I'll be posting that. So if you want to see me make my debut, if you want to see the 4 minutes of Mr. Success's debut, then I highly suggest you keep an eye out on the Facebook feed. But if you've got any sort of ideas for some funny videos that you think will be interesting, I'd love to hear them. I've had a lot of people suggest some stuff, a lot of really fucking funny stuff. So I like it. I don't want to make it too much of a comedy act, but I think, fuck it. There's too much doom and gloom in the world. Let's try to entertain some people. So, thank you for listening to this. Thank you. I hope you kind of picked out some sort of some slices of inspiration from somewhere, a little smitten here and a little smitten there. Hopefully you picked out something, maybe came up with your own ideas for a character. If you've got any good ideas and you want to rub them up against someone, feel free to chuck me a message. Let me know what your ideas are, and I'll give you a yay or a nay of my thoughts and how to make it a success. There we go. There's that White Goodman. Success. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to shut my mouth. Finish the night because I'm tired after Survivor Series last night as well. I'm going to go in and sleep like a little baby girl. Guys and girls, that is it from this week. Thank you for following my journey. Thank you for listening to this show. And guys and girls, I look forward to wrestling a match with you all soon. Guys and girls, I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for following my journey. It means a lot that you're all joining me along for the ride. And not only that, I'm hoping you're getting some inspiration out of this. This is what I'm doing it for, is to try to inspire people. I try to get more people into wrestling, try to get exposure for all these guests, all these great guests and future guests. And if you guys want to help, it would be much appreciated if you could go over to iTunes and leave this podcast a review. Wrestling with Success. And I want you to be as honest as possible. If you hate the show, if you hate my voice, if you want me to speak a little bit higher, if you want me to speak a little bit lower, then please let me know on the feedback. Any sort of review. That's all I'm asking for, guys. It helps get the names out there for all the previous guests and the ones to come. Thank you again for listening. It means a lot. Much love.